Mariani wine, you wonderful, magical potion. I'm so glad I found you. Hello? Good day. I need something for my headache. I'm in the middle of a table tennis tournament and need to get back to the game. Certainly, I'd recommend Mariani wine. It helps with all sorts of things, even headaches. Doesn't it contain cocaine? Yes. Excellent. How much for the bottle? 5 cents. Here you go. Oh, I'd like to buy this rubber table mat too, please. Okay, that'll be another 10 cents. What do you want it for? I'll stick it to my table tennis paddle, win the tournament, even though I play like a noob, and revolutionize the sport of table tennis forever with my idea. Then good luck, Mr. Good. What would I do without you? If only I had invented this drink myself, then I'd always have more than enough of it here. Try going into a pharmacy today and buying cocaine or heroin. You probably won't have much luck. But in the 19th century, that was totally normal, and Mariani wine was incredibly popular at that time. American pharmacist Dr. John Pemberton in particular just couldn't get enough of it. During his time as a soldier a few years earlier, he was critically wounded, and the doctors didn't think John would survive. Doctor, be honest, is it very bad? Well, please, doctor, just tell me the truth. Am I going to die? There's good news and bad news. What's the bad news? You're going to die. What? And the good news? You're going to get a lot of morphine from us for the pain, and you'll be so high you won't even notice when you kick the bucket. Oh man. Fate, however, had other plans for John because he survived. There was just one tiny little problem. He developed a severe morphine addiction. Back home, morphine wasn't so easy to get anymore, so he needed an alternative. John really did feel better because of it, but that wasn't thanks to any real medical effect, rather because Vin Mariani was basically just wine mixed with cocaine. But since John thought the stuff was an awesome replacement for his painkiller addiction, and he was a trained chemist himself, he spontaneously decided to create and sell his own version of it. Frank, come quickly, it's done. Here, try it. I call my invention Pemberton's French Wine Coca. Tastes like Mariani wine. What ingredients are in it? A particularly fine wine, coca leaves, and some very secret ingredients that give this wonderful drink its unique... So basically Mariani wine. Yes, Mariani wine. And so John Pemberton began the production and sale of French wine coca. His timing, however, was really awful, because just 1 year later, in 1886, alcohol was banned almost everywhere in the US by law. Frank, this is a disaster. What are we going to do? I've got it. Why? And please let me finish. Don't we replace the wine with, wait for it, mineral water and lots of sugar so it doesn't taste so bitter? Okay, but French wine coca without the wine? That makes no sense. I'm ruined. I've got it. The two main ingredients are caffeine and cocaine, right? Right, caffeine from the cola nuts and cocaine from coca leaves, right? Right, where are you going with this? Why not just combine them? Your drink gets the name Cola Coca. Why am I even taking advice from an accountant? Hey, I was top of my class. Of course you were, Frank. Let's just switch the words around and then it works. Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola. My version is better. What? New brand name? Check. Alcohol-free? Check. Super cool font that's still iconic today and recognizable even when used to spell out something totally made up? Check. Frank, I'm so happy now nothing can stop our global success, right? Right, Frank? The saying, can't see the forest for the trees, fit John's situation perfectly. John was an academic through and through, and that's why he sold Coca-Cola exclusively as a medicine. The only problem was that there were already tons of other medications on the market promising exactly the same effects. Coca-Cola was just one product among many, and major success failed to appear. And because the devil always craps on the biggest pile, John's health also began to deteriorate. Around the same time, someone else found out about John's invention. Pharmacist Dr. John Pemberton from Columbus, Georgia presented his invention named Coca-Cola last Tuesday, but success has yet to materialize. This is Asa Candler. But don't let those beautiful eyes fool you. Asa Candler is a cold-blooded businessman who would do absolutely anything for success, fame and fortune.
He was so...
Hey boss, what are we gonna do today? The same thing we do every day, Jim.
Trying to take over the world!
Okay. My dears, I fear the end is near. Unless a miracle happens, then... I deeply apologize. I'm looking for a certain Dr. John Pemberton. That would be me. What can I do for you, Mr. Candler? Asa Candler. I tried your invention and I have to admit I was absolutely thrilled. I would love to take over the marketing of Coca-Cola. Mr. Candler, heaven must have sent you. Did you hear that? My heart is almost bursting with joy. Uh-oh. Not just almost. Completely unexpectedly, John Pemberton passed away in August of 1888 without ever getting to witness just how successful his invention would become. As I said,
That is one big pile of shit.
the only person who probably wasn't too sad was Asa Candler. Because now he had the chance to become the sole owner of Coca-Cola. And here's how that happened. Asa had acquired some shares in Coca-Cola for a total of $1,300. However, these did not include the rights to the name Coca-Cola itself. John had stipulated that these be transferred solely to his son Charlie. Charlie Pemberton was, to put it mildly, not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed.
Don't you have to be stupid somewhere else?
Not until 4.
So while Charlie was selling a rather low-quality version of his father's invention under the name Coca-Cola, Asa Candler was forced to come up with a different name. Gentlemen, as you know, due to Mr. Pemberton Jr., that son of John Pemberton, we are forced to market our product under a different name. Suggestions? How about Cola Coca? Any other suggestions? Yum Yum. Coke. Okay, let's give it a try. And so Asa Candler sold Coca-Cola under various other brand names, which, as expected, wasn't really successful. After John Pemberton's death, Asa Candler sensed his opportunity to become the sole owner of Coca-Cola and went full ruthless businessman. For example, he is said to have offered John's widow $300 for the naming rights at the funeral, and just 2 weeks later, he signed a contract with the other shareholders that made him the sole owner of Coca-Cola once he had paid them $1,000 in installments. And exactly on May the 1st, 1889, it became official and Coca-Cola belonged 100% to Asa Candler for a ridiculous $2,300. And at that point, Candler was only 38 years old. So maybe it's time for you to move out of your bedroom at your parents' place too.
I said, don't disturb me while I'm cleaning my room!
But Asa Candler still had one tiny problem. Mr. Candler, a word please. And you are? My name is Margaret Dozier, wife of Charlie Pemberton. You forged both my signature and the signature of my late father-in-law, John Pemberton. How could you? Excuse me? How dare you accuse me of such an outrageous thing? I'm outraged. Well then, I'm sure you wouldn't mind showing these two officers the contract documents that John and I supposedly signed, would you? Of course not. That's why I will now go retrieve them from the archive in my old office. Please wait here. Ladies and gentlemen, all the documents have been destroyed. So Asa Candler was in fact never proven guilty of document forgery. But hey,
who the hell cares?
Much more important was that he now finally had a clear path to market his drink. And oh boy, Candler went all in. First, he plastered every empty surface in the city with his logo. Asa Candler spent $100,000 on advertising, an unimaginably high sum at the time. Suddenly there were Coca-Cola calendars, posters, bags, wallets, tin signs, Coca-Cola wooden crates. Asa Candler's goal was crystal clear. He wanted everyone, absolutely everyone, to immediately recognize the Coca-Cola logo when they saw it. Coca-Cola was still considered a medicine and was sold in pharmacies. So he obtained the customer lists from every pharmacy in town and sent out free coupons for a glass of Coca-Cola to all the customers. For some reason, Candler was absolutely sure that people only needed to drink one glass and they'd automatically want more. What could possibly be the reason for that?
Probably cocaine.
I'm fucking addicted!
Candler was called crazy for spending so much money on advertising, but his strategy was spot on and he managed to increase Coca-Cola sales to over $500,000 per year in 4 years. But Coca-Cola's massive breakthrough and simultaneously Asa Candler's biggest mistake as head of Coca-Cola was yet to come. Both were tied to two lawyers named Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead, who one fine day in 1899 visited Candler in his office with a question. "What can I do for you, gentlemen? Sir, have you ever thought about selling Coca-Cola in bottles?" This might sound strange to you now, but up until this point Coca-Cola still wasn't sold in bottles, but in glasses at so-called soda fountains. Coca-Cola didn't even sell the finished drink but a thick syrup. When someone ordered a Coke, the syrup was poured into a glass, then mineral water was added, a quick stir, and done. Pharmacies used to be popular social gathering spots. Where was I? Right. Sir, have you ever thought about selling Coca-Cola in bottles? Yes. And what do you think of the idea, Mr. Candler? I keep my distance, for the simple reason that it's far too complicated and too expensive. We figured you might respond like that. That's why we'd like to buy the bottling rights from you. Alright, but we'll make it contractually binding that you're only allowed to use our Coca-Cola syrup. That's exactly what we've specified in this contract here, which we brought with us. It says here I'm selling you the bottling rights for $1. Yep. And that you're allowed to buy the syrup from us permanently at the current price without adjustments, even if the cost of ingredients goes up. Yep. But in return, we bear all the cost risk for bottling and selling it. What could possibly go wrong? I agree. Now, please leave, gentlemen. I still have work to do. What a bunch of lunatics. Bottled Coca-Cola, what a stupid idea. This idea, however, was anything but stupid. Quite the opposite. It was an incredible success, and Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead were the only ones allowed to sell Coca-Cola in bottles. They took full advantage of this and opened the first Coca-Cola bottling plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And because nothing in the contract with Asa Candler prohibited them from doing so, they sold bottling licenses to other people, which soon led to bottling plants all across the USA. The two former lawyers became unbelievably rich. Asa Candler was happy too, since he was now selling more syrup than ever before. There were, unsurprisingly, quite a few imitators at that time, but Asa Candler had an idea for that too. Jim! Yes, boss? What is the best way to set ourselves apart from the competition? By printing half-naked women and Santa Claus holding a Coke on our billboards? Yes, that too. But that's not what I mean. I want you to come up with a completely new design for the bottles our bottlers use. Everyone must be able to immediately recognize that it's a Coca-Cola bottle, even in complete darkness. Yes, even if the bottle is shattered, anyone must be able to tell at a glance that it was one of ours. Understood? But I have vacation next week. Then you'll just postpone your vacation. Now get to work. All bottling plants used glass bottles that all looked very similar. A new bottle shape was needed. Unmistakable. And since one of the main ingredients of Coca-Cola is caffeine, the coconut was supposed to serve as inspiration. But instead of a coconut, Candler's assistant brought in the fruit of the cacao tree, which is used to make chocolate. He just mixed them up by mistake. And so the cacao pod became the model for the world-famous Coca-Cola bottle that people all over the world still recognize today. Boss? Yes, Jim? We made a tiny little mistake with the new bottle design. Oh, I already know, Jim. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. You're not mad at me? No, Jim. Are you okay, boss? I guess I just kind of lost my passion for the job. And I've made a decision. Dad, unbelievable. The new bottle design is amazing. Nothing can stop us now. Dad, I'm selling the company. What the f? And so Asa Candler sold Coca-Cola in the year 1919 to Ernest Woodruff
At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive.
for the amount of $25 million.
I like money.
By that point, agreements had also been made with the countless companies that were selling Coca-Cola in bottles. In the United States, every kid now knew Coca-Cola.
Let me guess, Tiny, a small salad.
But Ernest Woodruff had ambition, tons of ambition. He wanted to make Coca-Cola the #1 brand worldwide. And one event in which Germany played no small role would ensure that he achieved that goal.